Hi again, everyone. Today what I'd like to do is do a comparison for you between the Jetboil personal cooking system and the Optimus Crux weekend titanium cook system. First, I'd like to look at a couple of specifications, and the weight at which I use the Jetboil comes in right at 24 ounces, and the weight at which I would use the Optimus comes in at 22.75, so they're really essentially weigh about the same. Now that's not the weight that they actually list in the factory, because on the Jetboil I have weighed in there some of the options as well as a backup lighter that I carry with it. But let's take a look at both systems. The drink through lid for the Jetboil, have the optional tripod which stabilizes the fuel can, the whole stove and the fuel canister. Have the stove with the piezoelectric lighter on it. I have the pot stabilizer, which is what you would use if you're cooking with a pot that is not the Jetboil cup. We have the container, your cooking cup, and then you have a drinking cup. And on the bottom here I always carry my trusty white Bic lighter. Now with the Jetboil, it's a 32 ounce container, but that 32 ounces, they really only recommend that you boil a maximum of 2 cups at a time. So we'll talk about dimensions in a little bit here. Assembling the stove is pretty easy. You just screw the fuel container on, turn it on while you're pushing the starter, and you get your flame. The output on the Jetboil is about 4,500 BTU per hour, and a 100 gram cartridge will last roughly 1 hour worth of cooking time. That'll be important a little bit later. Now, the Optimus is also a complete cooking system. It comes with what they call a small frying pan. Handle folds out like that. My trusty Bic lighter. And then you have the stove, and it uses the Optimus Crux burner, which in order to set it up, there's a sleeve here you pull back, it sits upright, and you fold out the legs like so. Then you screw it onto your gas container. Once you've got that screwed down, this does not have a piezoelectric lighter. This you actually have to carry something to light with. Light this, turn the gas on, and if you notice, this Crux has a significantly larger flame than the Jetboil did. The BTU output for this Crux stove is 10,200 BTUs, as opposed to the Jetboil, which was 4,500. So it's over twice the BTUs. The downside is it also goes through fuel twice as fast. This 230 gram container only burns for about 1 hour, and I think that's probably one of the bigger downsides to this stove, is that it just absolutely uses a ton of fuel. But when you've got the stove going, you put the container on top. It has the flux ring around the heat ring around the base, which increases the surface area, the same general idea that the Jetboil has. And I do have to say, this stove boils water incredibly fast. 2 cups of water came to a rolling boil in about 1.5 minutes with this Optimus stove. as opposed to about 2.5 minutes with the Jetboil. One of the other things that I really like about this stove, and it's a little bit hard to see in here, but they have really good markings in the pot to tell you how much water or how much food you've got in the pot. They're marked in both metric and English units in 1 ounce, in 4 ounce increments on the side of the pot. That's very well done. The other thing that's nice about this pot is it is about 4.5 inches across and about 3 3/4 inches deep, versus the Jetboil, which is about 4 inches across and about 5 3/4 inches deep. The Jetboil, again, it is outstanding for boiling water. However, if I'm going to try to cook in something, I think I would be much happier cooking in this Optimus pot than I would be in the Jetboil. So, I guess overall, comparing the two, weight is pretty much the same. I would give the heat output edge to the Optimus, as well as you actually get 2 cooking pots with the Optimus. Time to boil water goes to the Optimus just because of the increased heat output. And for the Jetboil, I would give that the benefit of the fact that you've got the piezoelectric igniter, so you don't need to have a lighter with it. Although I typically do carry a lighter because I have had the piezoelectric crap out on me a couple of times, so I always have been a big believer in backups. But as far as it being really good on fuel, I would give the edge to the Jetboil. And if I was just strictly going to be boiling water on a longer trip, I would absolutely go with the Jetboil. If I'm going to be cooking in it, I would probably go with the Optimus. But that's my reviews. That's the comparison between the two of them. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments below this video. I'll try to answer them if I can. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. And hey, take your kids camping. Have a great day, everybody.